Hello, good evening, excuse me, and welcome. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm Owen James. This is all your latest Rangers news and obviously views on the club's current state. Good evening to Janet McFarlane, one of our very loyal viewers, guys. Welcome to Janet. Welcome to everyone else who is just tuning in tonight. No matter where you are in the world, no matter where you're watching from, you are all more than welcome. Evening, Sharpie. Right, guys, morning. Airwolf, you have the coolest name ever. I used to absolutely love Airwolf as a kid. Absolutely love that program. Brilliant program. Cameron Crooks says we need a winger. William Salmond with our RGB flags. Fantastic. Right, guys, there is a poll running in the live chat. The position of greatest need. I would have liked to have added a couple more onto there, right back and centre back, but the YouTube only gives you 4 options on the poll. So please vote in that poll. Where do you think the greatest area of need is for Rangers? The options are number 6, number 10, a striker or a winger. So where are your biggest positions of need? Right, we're going to start before we talk about what Rangers still need in terms of players, in terms of where we are, in terms of those key positions. We're going to take a little look at a statement that Brighton have released as regards Abdallah Sima. Yes, that's right. Former Rangers central defender and the Rangers legend Davy Weir has been speaking about the situation. Evening, Ross. How you doing, buddy? Kenneth Morrison, keep up the good work, lad. Thank you, Kenneth. Stuart Brooks says, Dessa's staying shows his passion. We are the people. Dessa's refusing to leave is prime Dessa's shithouser, he says, Geordie. And Gross Scotland says, Owen, mates, still need a fucking miracle. I did say on the actual description for this program, and it's not a miracle. Right back, Sterling's got to play midfield. Tav has to go. 2 new right backs would be ideal, says Shug Scotland. I did actually say at the start of the pod that, I did actually want to add right back and centre back to that list, but they only give us 4 options on YouTube for the poll. Current polling, guys, get your votes in. Number 6 at 17%, number 10 at 43%, striker at 25%, and a winger at 12%. So give us your votes on that, guys. How you doing, everybody? Hi, Owen. How you doing? Hi. How you doing? I don't know who you are. Hi, you've got a very blurred picture there. Anyway, Davy Weir has been speaking as regards Abdallah Sima, and this is what he had to say. Cameron Crooks, we will get to that one. Aldous is number 10 we need. Number 10 we need. Sound like Jim Bowen there from Bullseye. There, if you remember Jim Bowen. Apparently, Dessers was close to a $6 million move to America, but opted to stay at Rangers. For fuck's sake, said Sharpie. Yeah, apparently that is correct. Atlanta United agreed a fee with Rangers of $6 million for Dessers, and he turned it down, refused to leave. Should have kicked him out of the door. Anyway, in an official Brighton statement, David Weir said this. Now, this is what he said about why Sima has joined Stade Brest. And we can perhaps reflect on this, a little bit before we talk about the positions of need. So David Weir said, Abdallah had a successful period with the Rangers last season, and this loan will give him the opportunity to get regular minutes in a good league at a club who finished third in France last season and will be playing Champions League this season. We wish him well, and Pathway Development Manager Gordon Greer and his team will monitor his progress. The comments here suggest that Brighton see big potential in Abdallah Sima despite assigning number expensive attackers this summer. So the clear reason why Brighton have sent Abdallah off to Stade Brest rather than to Rangers is clear now. It is because Stade Brest are playing Champions League football. We are not playing Champions League football. I think there is obviously some link between the fact that this was announced pretty much as soon after it was confirmed we wouldn't be playing Champions League football. We drop out the Champions League, and within a week's time, obviously it's announced that Abdallah Sima will be going to Stade Brest, where he will play Champions League football. Now, I don't buy into the fact that Ligue 1 is vastly superior to the SPL. I mean, let's face it, it is better than the SPL. Of course it is. But the teams that are competitive within Ligue 1 are greater than number of teams competitive within Scotland. However, I'd still say that France is a very, very weak league. Paris Saint-Germain tend to win it season in, season out. Monaco have the odd threat. Rennes, Stade Brest, Saint-Etienne when they were promoted. A number of clubs, Marseille will have a go, but often it is a one-team league. Paris Saint-Germain with their Qatari millions win the league 9 times out of 10. So I wouldn't agree with what was said on a number of other podcasts that Ligue 1 is a vastly superior league to the SPL. Probably is better, yes. Superior, no. I'd say not. Janet says, Dessers shows guts staying in spite of fans constantly at him. Cameron, on the other hand, can't take criticism. We need a psychologist to stop throwing away games against the likes of Motherwell and Ross County. A sports psychologist, John Hannah. That's a good shout. Maybe that's something that we can look into to add to our sports scientists who seem to have an awful lot of power. I'll tell you what this club needs is backing from us people. Remember the dark days and our support. That's what makes us Rangers. Any idea on the date we move back to Ibrox, Sharpie? It's September. We don't know when. An experienced centre midfielder would make a huge difference. My daughter keeps taking over my profile, hence the profile name and pick. Oh, there we go. Aldo says, just getting on the Dessers train because we ain't getting striker. Dessers is all we've got. And he does score goals, even though he frustrates me at times. Chris Brown says, Connor Barron for me looks the best signing so far. Just shows you get really good players from the SPFL that know Scottish football. I agree on that one, Chris. Connor Barron is by far the best signing that we have made so far. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. We need a lot, to be fair. A decent centre-back wouldn't go amiss. Soapy is shocking. We need a 6, a 10, a left winger, and I still believe a striker, says Grow Scotland. We are going to talk through these options tonight, guys. Mostly 2 teams with Gub Hearts, Aberdeen, Hibs, etc. Lol, I agree, Shug Scotland. Like I said, but I wouldn't put it as a vastly superior league. League only is a good league, don't get me wrong. It is a better league than Scotland. But I don't think it's a vastly superior league. Yeah, can we have attacking midfield above Barron? That would be good. Would we be guaranteed getting any money, Sharpie? That's the question, the way the board are. That exactly, Shug Scott, and the team of Barons and Sterlings would be amazing. Yes, so that was the statement that Davy Weir made. So it's clear that's the reason why they want Sima to go to Stade Brest. Now, according to the statement that was made by David Weir, Abdallah Sima, there was no mention in the official Brighton statement of any option or obligation to buy on the contract. To me, it sounds like a straight loan that they have done, and that Brighton do actually see some potential in Sima in the future. Sima also, the year option that he had on his contract has been activated by all accounts by the club. So he is now under contract for at least another season. So he is not out of contract at the end of the season. That option that was on Abdallah's contract is not an option that he can reject. It is a contractual option that he agreed to when signing his contract. So therefore, it is obviously down to the club. The club can then make a decision. Do they want to keep him around for a further year? They've decided to keep him around for a further year. So they have activated that option. He does not have a say in the matter. It is contract law. But it's interesting they've sent him out to the Champions League. It also may be a bit of a play by Brighton as well. If you think about it, Stade Brest, obviously in Ligue 1, perhaps not the biggest club, perhaps not the biggest budget. However, Abdallah Sima goes there, stays free of injury, plays well in France, impresses in France, plays in the Champions League, impresses in the Champions League, and therefore is suddenly worth a whole lot more money to Brighton at the end of this season, and he can be flogged on for a great amount of money. So that could also be the theory behind this statement and this deal that has been done. James is a good run club. Brighton, they certainly are. They are, I think, the model that a lot of clubs could do with following. He certainly is. Alex Wallace, good evening, Owen, and all the Bears. Good evening, Alex. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're on the road to recovery. Hope everything that you're going through at the moment is getting you to a successful outcome, buddy. We're all thinking of you and sending you all the very best from everyone here at Glasgow Rangers Nation. Rangers women are playing tonight. They are. Never mind Sima. Move on. Sack the whole board. Owen, have you heard anything about the player called Bracalo we're apparently pursuing? So, Sharpie, I did talk about that on the video this morning. Bracalo is a guy who can play 10. He can play left wing. He can play right wing. He is currently with Fiorentina. He's a lot more realistic option than Gouveia, who I don't think is the link to Thiago Gouveia from Benfica, I think, is a nonsense link. I think it is absolute journalistic crap. The fact that Benfica are looking for between 7 to 10 million for him shows that I think that he is well out of Rangers' price range at this moment in time. Bracalo, I think, is a more realistic option for Rangers. Looking at the terms of any deal for him, he's valued at around €3.5 million, which is about £3 million. There is a deal to be done there. Given the fact that Fiorentina do want rid of him, that Fiorentina wants to clear a lot of the deadwood or the sort of the peripheries of their squad. Their new manager's very much in the mood to shape the squad as he wants it to. Sound familiar? But they actually have money to do that, unlike Rangers. The stumbling block over Bracalo, Sharpie, is obviously the situation where we have not got any money at this moment in time. We are very much aware of the fact that we have to sell to buy, and because we have to sell to buy, obviously we have to wait until we can get someone out. Now, whether that is Cantwell, Hadji, Davis, Matondo, whoever. Now, I've been reliably informed by some people that I know, some Leeds content creators, that there is absolutely no truth whatsoever in the rumour of Rabbi Matondo to Leeds, which has resurfaced. According to these content creators, and these are massive content creators, guys. These are guys whose numbers would rival CJ Novo in Rangers terms, certainly dwarf my numbers. They say that there is no truth in the rumour that Rabbi Matondo is on his way to Leeds, and there is no truth in the rumour that Leeds have looked at Rabbi Matondo. He is certainly not on the radar of the Elland Road club, and he is not wanted in West Yorkshire. So that one we can straight away strike out. Matondo is at the moment going nowhere. Grant Willis says, would we be guaranteed to get a striker who would hit the ground running if we took money for Dessers? We should be backing Dessers and not berating him. His work ethic is second to none. It's a point, Grant. Thank you very much. I am not getting into a Cyril Dessers discussion tonight. You are all fully aware of my views on Cyril Dessers. That is, and I'm sticking with them. Okay, so look, what do we need? That's the big question. What do we need? Loads of people wishing Alex all the best. Alex says, Janet, Owen, all good, thanks. Get results of tests on Friday, fingers crossed. Alex, keep us in the loop, buddy. We are thinking of you, mate, and we send you a Scotty salute out there. Okay, Aldo, hey, I did it, buddy. How is the sniper tonight? Good to see you here. So, look, we do need to still strengthen, but we fully know that there has to be departures before there are arrivals. So what I want to do is I want to look at prospective positions that we need to strengthen. Like I said, we are running a poll that is currently running that says biggest signing priority is, we've got number 6, number 10, striker and winger. At the moment, number 10 is out in front at 43%, followed by a striker on 38, and number 6 on 13, and a winger on 6. If the winger is so least fancied, you've got to kind of question why Rangers are so interested in Bracalo. We need a number 10 who can actually move. Although I agree with you. Sorry, YouTube short earlier. Apparently, Neymar has a 2-year contract in Saudi Arabia worth 320 million. Yeah, I would be surprised about that, Sharpie, at all. The money out there is absolutely ridiculous. Right, so let's go through. Bobby Finney says Kiev getting beat. Heads up, Owen. Yeah, absolutely. I haven't actually seen that, buddy. I will have a look at that. I'll try and run a little bit of along with that. Actually, to be honest with you, I've forgotten that there was any European games on tonight. If I'm being honest, since we got knocked out, I've kind of forgotten all about it. Kiev are 1-0 down at home to RB Salzburg. We obviously wish Salzburg all the very best. Not that we're bitter at all, of course. Scott says we need all of the player positions. Realistically, Scott, we've got to look at what the priorities are, and that's what I want to talk about on this podcast tonight. Watch a documentary on how money ruined the true sport of football. It's fake, it's greed. Players are greedy now and not loyal to their clubs. Well, we know that, don't we, Aldo? We know there's not, that. On the subject of health, I'm finally on the waiting list for my shoulder. Hand up. Well, I wish you all the best, Grove Scotland. Hope that happens. No one will touch Matondo. He's crap, says Follow the Money. Neymar could buy Rangers. With that amount of money, he certainly could. Rangers have been doing amazing. We know that. Rangers women are fantastic. Fantastic. So thoughts and best wishes out to, obviously, to Alex and to Grow Scotland. So let's go through and have a look. We'll work our way from the back to the front of the pitch. Now, one of the positions that is mentioned as a position of need for Rangers is the right back slot. Now, I know we have Adam Devine. Aldo says we need the striker. He doesn't trust Danilo. And Anton says surely the minimum the board should have prepared for was Europa League, so there should be money to get that level of player in. The board is a shambles. Well, Anton, you'd certainly think, wouldn't you, that there would be a financial strategy for the Champions League and a financial strategy for the Europa League, and those should be in place. The board clearly have not planned that way. So anyway, let's talk about these positions anyway. So before we'll talk more generally about the club tomorrow on tomorrow night's podcast, guys. Oh, just a quick heads up before we talk about this. Whilst I remember, I've got on Friday night, we are doing a preview podcast here on the channel. On the preview podcast on Friday night, I will have some fans from Ross County on the channel to talk about Ross County, to talk about the game between ourselves and the Stags at Hampden Park on Saturday. So, guys, be nice to them, obviously. So some Ross County fans will be on the channel on Friday night with me, talking all things Ross County, looking ahead to the game. That's Friday night, guys. So please, obviously, come and join us from that. Okay, so look, we're looking at number 2, aren't we? We're looking at one number 2 there for definite. Anyway, Dujon Sterling and James Tavernier. Now, I know realistically we have Adam Devine as well, but I don't, and Leon King. But Philippe Clement quite clearly doesn't see Adam Devine as an option. He doesn't see Leon King as an option. He only sees these two guys as options at this moment in time. Now, my worry about the right back position is this. For me, you look at these two, and Dujon Sterling, I think, given the injury history of others in midfield, you kind of start to feel that maybe Dujon is going to be used more in midfield this season. That he's going to be used as a central midfield player. He's going to be used to spell Connor Barron, to be used to spell Diamande. If it is that we don't get a 10 in, is Dio going to be pushed further forward into the 10 role? And is Sterling then going to be used alongside Barron? So, the fact that Sterling is such a hybrid player, that Sterling is, is such a player that can play in a number of positions, that could kind of cast doubt, couldn't it, over Sterling as a right back going forward, which then leaves us with James Tavernier as right back. So anyway, look, realistically, James Tavernier is not the answer at right back. We need a right back. We do need to bring in a right back, I think, at least, if not Sterling playing at right back, someone to back up Sterling. Now, earlier in the window, we were linked with Ruel Walters from Arsenal. No relation to Mark Walters, by the way, guys. That seems to have died a death. I'm not even sure what he's up to these days, Ruel Walters. But that rumour certainly seems to have died away and disappeared now. It does seem as well that there has been no links to right backs in any of the transfer links. So that is sort of worrying that the right back doesn't seem to be a position of need. Ruel Walters apparently has signed for Luton. I do apologise. Ruel Walters is now a Luton player in the Championship. Well, that just says it all, doesn't it? He's chose Luton, a shitty little club from a shitty little town with a shitty little stadium, over us. I mean, that says it all, I think, and shows something there, doesn't it, really? John Hanna says the fans won't stand for the level of mediocrity much longer and will start to vote with their feet. Falling attendances will wake the board up. You have to hope so. Aldo says here, where have we got the point? So yeah, Aldo says we need to see Sterling in a run of games at right back. Now, given the situation where we have, that he came out and he said, Clement, that we would not see James Tavernier playing 60 games this season, you've got to kind of start to question what has happened at the start of the season. Why has why has he been so stuck to? Why has he not been spelled? Why have we not seen him taken off in any games? Why is he always playing the full 90 minutes? Why is he not getting spelled? Yes, he has signed for Luton. I'm completely missed that one. At the end of the day, we need to see, for me, a right back brought to the club. Yes, I agree with what Aldo has to say. I think we do need to see Dujon Sterling given a run, but I do think we need a right back. Now, for me, if we go with James Tavernier on the 1st of September at Parkhead, Dyson Maida will be sitting in the changing rooms like this. His little eyes will light up, and he'll go out there and he'll look like prime CR7 yet again. Now, one thing that slightly worries me, and guys, no, Cameron, I don't think he'll go to Manchester City at all. I think that story is utter bollocks, if I'm being honest. It's as if Clement is scared to drop Tav. With Tav as captain, Marvel will win fuck all, says Follow the Money. I genuinely worry about that. Why he continues to pick Tav all the time. Is it just because he's our captain? Why is he not following through on what he said in terms of this fact that he will not play every game, that he cannot play every game? Tavernier, you watch him play, his legs are gone, he gets skinned. Every game he's being targeted, and not just by Celtic. He was targeted by Motherwell, he was targeted by Kiev, he was targeted by Hearts. He'll be targeted on Saturday by Ross County if he starts. If we pick him against Celtic, he will get absolutely ripped to shreds. So, right back for me is a position I think we do 100% need to address. Now, the other position that has been talked about as a possible position of need for Rangers still in this transfer window is centre-back. I haven't listed Leon King on that list. I haven't put Leon King down there. So we've got Ben Davis, John Suter, Robin Proper, Leon Balogun, obviously Leon King as well. Is it the board that picks the team? What do they see in Wright and Tav? Lawler, says Cameron. While Tav is still at Rangers, they will spend the money elsewhere in the squad, says Stephen McCullough. Unfortunately, I think you could be right, Stephen, even though I think it is a priority to get Wright back in. Niels Coppen did his part identifying Eddie Ocampo as Tav's replacement, and we blinked. I've heard that Coppen is not impressed with this board in the slightest and what they've done. I agree with Sharpie. Tav will start against Celtic. I guarantee it. Tav will start against Celtic. So we've got 4 centre-backs at the club at this moment in time. We've got Davis, we've got Suter, we've got Proper, we've got Balogun, 4 starting centre-halves. We've also got King, and we've also got some of the youth players as well who can come into the squad. So, look, I think centre-back is a need. Don't get me wrong. But in this window, I think with the fact we brought in Proper, the fact we still have Big Leon, Suter, yes, he's not perfect, but he's not terrible. He's not great. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, and Ciala, but Ciala is not going to play first team minutes this season. I don't think. Clement pretty much said as much, that he is not ready for first team football. So I don't think we'll see Ciala. So realistically, whilst that position is a need, I don't think in this window it is now a priority, given the fact we've brought Proper in, given the fact that we have, such other mass of weaknesses in this squad. I don't see us getting another centre back. Not in this window. Maybe in the summer, next summer, maybe next year, going into next season. I agree. Ciala, look, yes, Ciala is a promising player. Thomas, I see your team, buddy, but I don't think he's going to play any first team minutes this season. Apparently, he was to blame for a couple of the goals against Blackburn the other night. So I can't see Ciala starting, mate. I genuinely can't. I think it's going to be Balogun, it's going to be Davis, it's going to be Suter, it's going to be Proper if he's fit. Aldo said on there, what was it on here? Balogun and Proper would be my pairing on the second. What about the first, Aldo? Balogun and Proper, I would, if going into that Old Firm game against Celtic, I would go with Balogun and Proper as well. Big Leon, he's big, he's quick, he's strong. He's not going to get pushed around. He's not going to get, lose Kyogo the way that Souta's done in the past, the way that Goldson did last season. So for me, Balogun for me has to start. And alongside him, I would go, with Proper. But I think centre-back, whilst it is a need, it's not a priority at this moment in time because of the players we've got, because of the fact we've got enough, I think, to get through this season. And given the fact that, in an ideal world, yes, I'd love Rangers to go and buy another centre-back, but realistically, it's not a priority for this window now. It's a priority for another window further down the line. And as we know, this so-called rebuild, which is not really a rebuild, is going to take more than 1 to 2 windows to come to fruition. Bluebell says, it's one of my concerns with PC. It takes some balls to strip Tav and move on. The fact he hasn't done it, that's not a great sign, in my opinion. I agree. I would love Philippe Clement to show some bollocks, some big bollocks, go out there on Saturday or before the Celtic game and say, right, Tav, you're not playing. You're not the captain. Jack Butland, you're the captain. Leon Balogun, you're the captain. You're not starting Tav. Sterling, you're starting at right back against Celtic. And that's how we go. Because I can't see how Tav can start against Celtic. Maida will absolutely tear him a new arsehole. He will, 100%. Realistically, we'll be lucky to move on. Cantwell and Hadji, we need a 10 as a priority. If Clement is insisting on playing one, we will hang off and gamble on Shankland in January. Airwolf says, if Tav starts against Celtic, we'll need Sterling to shield him a bit. Does Clement not look into free agents? We've never in the past, buddy, whilst this guy's been here, so I can't see it happening. Why are we signing these absolute wallopers that can't even walk into a starting 11? What's going on? It's the first, yes. Although you had the first, mate. Don't worry about it. Champions League is Kiev. Yeah, we're tracking that one as well. We've got some good points here. Ignis Van Bremt, loan 300k. Dado, I think you should go on to be a scout for Rangers. Suter and Proper, hopefully Davis off to Burnley and a replacement in, says Alan Austin. That would be an interesting one. Now, I think if that was if that is a possibility that we can get Davis out, then we may need to bring in another centre-back. I personally think that both Hadji and Cantwell will either go out on loan or they'll be in the B team till January at minimum, says Aldo. Realistically, hope that loan is not an option they're looking at. If Tav, Lawrence and Dessers play on the 1st of September, then the manager will be questioned as expected it ends badly. Penny for the thoughts of Coppen. I agree with that one. So look, so far, right back I think is a big need in this window. Centre back I could see us doing without. Right, let's move it forward into the midfield area. So number six. Right, realistically, what have we got as number 6s at the club? Okay, Cameron here says they need to do their homework into free agents instead of these loans to buy, especially if we don't have the money, just need to get rid of players to cover wages. Okay, so at the moment, you can kind of say that Connor Barron is fulfilling that number 6 role, that defensive midfielder sitting at the base of the midfield. Now, Connor Barron is a central midfielder more than a 6. He can do that 6 role. But for me, it'd be better to give Barron a bit of freedom to move forward a little bit, to influence a little bit further forward. Bailey Rice, for me, is a genuine option at 6, but it doesn't seem to be an option for Philippe Clement. Clement either doesn't trust him, doesn't like him, doesn't think he's ready. I don't know what the issue is. Now, in modern football, that number 6 is suddenly becoming a very, very important position. Now, it could be that we can cope with Connor Barron playing the 6 role, but that's putting an awful lot of pressure on a very young player. A player who we don't want to overuse, a player we don't want to push. Now, I think number 6 is something we need. Don't get me wrong. We've obviously been linked with them in the past. Damian Garcia, Kenny McLean, some of those guys as that 6. The 6 is kind of like the man at the base of the midfield who is the conductor, the quarterback who sets the tone for the rest of the midfield. Now, I think that is a need. Don't get me wrong for this club. Hey, Rangers Journal, how you doing? I take it that's Scott. Hey, Scott. Unlike Rangers Review, mate, I do bring your comments up. Sorry, that was very bad of me. But I think 6 is a position we need, but is it top of the list of priorities for this window? It would be if we had money. It would be if we had a massive budget. Yeah, a CDM, Thomas. That's what I mean. Yeah, a 6, as they're known now. We're getting more into this kind of numbers kind of approach. Realistically, no, I haven't, Alex. So we do need a CDM, I think, to give Barron a bit of freedom. But if we come out of this window, look, I'm trying to be realistic here. I'm trying to be a bit more realistic here. Realistically, probably with Barron and Sterling, yes, you can, Scott. Of course, you can post your link. Absolutely, 100% post it. Like I've always said, I will, unlike other Rangers podcasts, I will support all Rangers podcasts, whether it's Not Another Rangers podcast, whether it's Gallant Few, Rangers Journal, Stands of Ibrox, wherever it is. Yeah, post away, mate. Post away. I think it is a need. But I think there are bigger priorities down the line at this moment in time. That perhaps a 6 is something for January or maybe next summer. I think with Barron and Sterling, we've probably got just enough to get by again. I rate Barron and Diamande. I really do rate Barron and Diamande. And I honestly feel that if we were to get a 10, which I think is a greater need, and I'll explain why in a minute, that we can get by without a 6 until the next window or until the summer. Cameron says Clement should try Barron at central attacking midfield, have Diamande at central midfield, and put Hefte on the wing. With that new winger we signed, have Rotondo beside Barron and Dessers up top. Interesting. Cameron, interesting. Scott says here, Barron was brought in as a young prospect, in and out of the team. The fact he's a regular starter shows the need for more midfielders. I agree. Look, I think we do need a 6. But I'm trying to be realistic that we've got a lot of needs and we've got not much money and not much time. It's the 21st of August today. The window closes in 9 days' time. So in the list of priorities, yes, I'd put a 6 in the list of priorities, but not the top of the list of priorities. Okay, so I'm going to pull up what my list of priorities is in a minute at the end of the podcast. Okay, I'm going to pull up what my list of priorities is going forward. But I think the problem we've got is that we have got an extremely limited budget. And with that extremely limited budget, we've got to kind of be willing to cut our coat according to our cloth, by that old saying. Rangers Journal says number 6 is the biggest need. We are far too disjointed. I hope we can get absolutely stalwart in there. Rangers, I agree. We do need a 6, but I'm just looking at other priorities. Thomas, he's already gone to Ipswich, mate. Calvin Phillips has gone to Ipswich. So, look, I do agree that 6 is a priority. Not a priority, is a big need. But I'm kind of shopping in the what's realistic in this window. What can we get in this window? So 6, I'm definitely putting it as a priority, but not the top priority. Okay, we'll get to, like I said, my list of priorities will come up at the end of the podcast. John Hanna says the more the board pussyfoot around, the less chance Phil has of getting anyone in, because no one will take the prospect of playing for the club with any prospects of furthering their career. What we need is a wish version of Rodri, mate? Absolutely. I mean, I think 6 is a need. It is a need, but it's not the top need for me. The top need. Okay, so let's move it forward. The 10s. Right, now, obviously, we are completely ruling out. Right, guys, that's the link if you want to subscribe to Rangers Journal. Great channel. Great live podcast. Great content. Great guys. Still waiting for my invitation to go on Rangers Journal. Yeah, Scott, still waiting for my invitation, mate. Where's my invitation to come on your podcast, mate? Still waiting. I'd love to come on sometime. Or is it that I'm far too controversial? I don't know. Anyway, I'll post your link as well, Scott. So number 10. So if we disregard Cantwell and Hadji. Okay, so we can't really include Cantwell and Hadji. Let's face it, Cantwell and Hadji are not in the manager's plans. And I don't really want to spend any more time talking about Cantwell and Hadji. I've spent more than enough time talking about Cantwell and Hadji. So I don't really want to talk about them anymore. So at the moment, we've got there you go. There's the Rangers Journal link there, guys. There it is. Check it out. Please hit it, subscribe to it after the podcast, obviously. So yeah, Alex Lowry and Tom Lawrence. Now, Alex Lowry clearly isn't fancied by the manager, clearly isn't in the manager's plans, clearly isn't a player that, that is looked at as being an option there. So we can rule him out. Tom Lawrence has just been god-awful. In every game that Tom Lawrence started against Celtic with Cyril Dessers last year, Rangers looked ineffective. They looked poor. They didn't look good going forward. They did, he hasn't got the pace to get on beyond the striker. So Lawrence is not an option. Now, I'm putting 10 top of my list of priorities. Now, why am I putting 10 top of my list of priorities when I've said in the past I want to get rid of 10? I want to play a 4-3-3. Well, that's me. I'm not the manager of Rangers. Philippe Clement is the manager of Rangers. And it's quite clear he wants to persist with this 4-2-3-1 formation. So for that's why for me that 10 has suddenly become the top priority in this window now. Between now and 11 o'clock or 11:30, whenever it is on the 30th of August, we need to get a 10 in and over the line. A 10 that's got the pace to run beyond the striker, a 10 that's mobile, a 10 that's going to stay central, a 10 that's going to be more like a support striker than a central attacking midfielder in a way. That's what we need. That for me is the top priority in this window now, between now and the end of the window closing, because it's clear that Clement wants to play with a 10. Now, we can talk all we want about it's better to play 4-3-3 or 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2 or 4-4-2, but Clement's not going to do that. Clement has shown that he wants to play 4-2-3-1. Okay? He's almost having his reverse Mike Bassett moment. He's going to come out at a press conference one day soon and go, Rangers will be playing 4-2-3-1, and that and walk out, a la Mike Bassett in Mike Bassett England manager. So for me, a 10 becomes the top priority because we haven't got one at the club. If it is that Hadji and Cantwell are gone, then it is the top need for me at this point. Okay, let's get to your comments. Alan says 10 is the priority. We are waiting on late bids for Cantwell and Hadji to fund one. Probably true after the podcast, Scott, though. Although I agree, mate, don't want him to go. We need to give him the sort of time that Gerrard got, but we also need to beat them. Even if we don't win the league, he needs results against them. Next year, we'll be playing European Conference League. If we're lucky, there needs a clean out. Larry looks better on the left, says Bobby. Although agree, mate, we can't go the whole season without beating them. Agree. 6 and 10 equally, says Scott. Can Dalb? No, I don't think so. No Rangers manager can survive. Absolutely not. 100%. Tav and Lawrence are like Egyptian mummies against Celtic. Slow as hell, says Alan Austin. Scott B says Barron and Diamonde are going to be knackered when we can't rely on Raskin's fitness. Agreed. Although, true, mate. What about next manager? We can't keep sacking managers. Agreed. Adrian says, Owen, did you see the rumours that this weekend might be the last game at Hampden? I've seen those rumours. That hopefully those rumours will be true. 100% true. But for me, 10 becomes the top priority because I'll be honest with you. We need someone to play in that 10 formation. We haven't got that 10 formation. I know you were, Cameron. So, look, I don't think that's an option. I don't think 10. I think 10 is a top priority in this window. And like I said, I will come to my list of priorities at the end of the podcast. Okay, let's move it forward then, and we'll go to our wingers. So at the moment, winger-wise, we've got Cheney, we've got Wright, we've got McCausland, we've got Matondo, and we've got Cortez. They are our wingers. Obviously, I know there's Archie Stevens, there's Alex Lowry can play there. I know that NCO can play there, Lovelace can play there. But realistically, they are the five that we're looking at, although Cortez is out injured at the moment. So you look at that. The one thing that's lacking for me in that list with the fact that Cortez is missing injured is a left winger. Cheney is a right winger. McCausland is a right winger. Scott Wright is Scott Wright. So I think a left winger is also something we need to look at in this window. I know that there's time. I know Cortez obviously will return at some point, but I do think we need a left winger. We've got a massive right wingers. Like I said, with Cortez out injured, we've only got Matondo realistically. Hefte can play up there, but I think the situation is that Clement perhaps doesn't see him as been a long-term option there. It's 1-0 at half-time. Kiev 0, Salzburg 1 at half-time. So yeah, look, I think that we need a left winger. I think that also is a top need in this window, and perhaps that's why we're looking at Bracalo and we're looking at Gouveia allegedly. I don't think the Gouveia rumor is true. Aldo says, what's lacking also, Owen, is goals. Only one I think who will get them is the Czech Robin. Yeah, I agree, Aldo. And I think that's why we need a 10. If we're going to get players chipping in from midfield to score goals, that's why we need to be looking at wingers and 10s, because wingers and 10s are where your goals come from. I mean, if you look at Sima scored 16 goals last season. No matter what you think of him, yeah, Charles, 100%. What is lacking is Sima, and as we know, Sima's not coming. We've lost out on Sima now. That's dead and buried. I can carry on crying and sobbing, but realistically, we're not going to get Sima, so we can forget him. But we do need a winger, and Aldo's right. We do need goals to come from elsewhere in the team. And at the moment, you look at that team and you think, right, Bowen and Diamande, good midfielders, not going to score a lot of goals. Cheney, yeah, could. Lawrence, not going to score a lot of goals. Matondo, not going to score a lot of goals. Wright, not going to score a lot of goals. McCausland, I know he got one at the weekend, but not going to score a lot of goals. So, realistically, yes, I agree. 100%, 100%. We do need that. We need to start hammering the lesser teams in the league and build some momentum and put pressure on Celtic. John, you're right. 100%. Could be something in the Matondo rumours, looking at left wingers' wages we are looking at. Oh, Alan, there is no truth in Matondo to Leeds. As I said at the start of the podcast, I've spoken to a couple of Leeds content creators, and they've both said that no, there is no truth in the rumours at all of Matondo to Leeds. So, realistically, guys, we do need a winger. I honestly feel that a left winger is something we do need to look for in this transfer window that is now open. Not in January, not in next summer, but certainly on that thing. Nothing yet, Aldo. Nothing yet confirmed. Nothing yet confirmed, mate. Yeah, Rangers Journal confirms it as well. I can tell you that Matondo isn't going to Leeds. Yeah, he isn't going to Leeds. As I've said, I've looked into what a couple of Leeds content creators have been putting a lot of stuff out about signings, obviously because they're in a bad position at the moment, having sold a lot of their players. So yeah, he isn't going there, mate. Trust me, he is not going there. The teams in this league do not fear us anymore. They haven't since Gerrard. We need to have that fear factor back. Correct. Yeah. So look, I think a winger is a position that is going to be a priority. Now, strikers. Right. These are our strikers we currently have. Danilo, the ever reliable Cyril Dessers, Hamza Igman, and Zach Lovelace. I'll be absolutely honest with you, guys. Unless someone goes, we are not going to sign a striker. We can all sit here and say it's a priority. We can all sit here and talk about a striker being a top priority in this transfer window. But realistically, we're not going to get one because the board have pretty much made that clear. Clement has as well. We've got 4 strikers, 3 strikers, possibly 4 with Lovelace. So realistically, unless one of Danilo, Dessers leaves, because Igman is not going to leave, he's just arrived here. Realistically, we're not going to get another striker. Danilo is about 6 weeks away from membership. Thank you to Pete for becoming a channel member. Thank you so much for that. Obviously, all memberships and all super chats, super stickers go towards supporting the channel. So thanks for that. Bracalo, I think, is on 34 per week. We need to offer 30%. Follow the money says, can we swap Matondo for David Batt? I think Batty's a bit old now, mate. I think he's about 50. We should play number 44 from the lady. She's got 7 goals in 2 games. Is that McLaughlin or what's the young girl called again? The young Irish girl or Scottish girl. I can't remember what she's called now. She's Irish or Scottish, but she's brilliant. Aldo, congratulations. You've been a member for 2 months. Congratulations. Kiev have been terrible v Red Bull. Salzburg, says Dado. Yes, where was I? Yeah, I think we do need to look at the striker situation realistically. At the moment, Dessers is all we've got in terms of strikers. We aren't realistically. He is it. Danilo is 4 to 6 weeks away from match fitness. I once heard a professional actually talk about match fitness and match sharpness, and he said you can train and be as fit as you want to be on the training field, but until you actually get on the pitch and get yourself match sharp, then you don't actually know what match sharpness is. Match sharpness takes match sharpness takes a good 4 to 6 weeks to get into. This was a guy called Stephen Elliott. Some of you might know, former Ireland international, former Sunderland player. He was talking about it, and he was saying that it takes you 4 to 6 weeks to get your match sharpness. So look, Danilo, we're looking at 4 to 6 weeks before we can even judge Danilo and where we're up to with Danilo. Hamza Igman, look, we've got to hope that all the hype about Igman is true, that he's this quality striker, that he's a top young lad, that he's a highly rated player, that he's someone that can come in and make a difference. I know it's a big gamble, I know it's a huge gamble, but we've got to kind of hope that it pays off. Rangers Journal says, Owen, what did you make of Dessers knocking the move back? Rangers Journal, I'm going to be honest with you, I was disappointed because it was 6 million. It's 2 players. It's 2 players for Rangers. And, the financial state that we're in at this moment in time, we could have used that 6 million. We could have gone and got a striker for 3 and then a midfielder for 3. That could have been 2 players. And realistically, Dessers, who is on 27 grand a week, is not going to be worth any more than 6 million at the end of the season. He's going to be worth less than 6 million because his contract's going to run down. He's going to be older. He's going to be slower, which is possible. I don't think is possible, but he is going to get slower. So for me, Rangers Journal, I was really disappointed that we knocked him, that he refused to move. Rangers Journal says, same here. We can recycle the money really well. Absolutely. That's the biggest thing. I think a lot of fans lose sight of that. That yes, he is scoring goals at the moment, 3 and 5. But I think a lot of people forget last season. They forget he misses chances. They forget he misses crucial chances. And that he is not I know you've got people like Shona and 4 lads who just get themselves in all of a tizzy over Dessers and love Dessers to bits, and she was apparently really annoyed with me last night and says it's fucking great news that he's staying, which I think it's awful news that he's staying. I think it's really short-sighted. Yeah, we get 6 million, bringing a striker who takes till the new year to be ready. Dessers is ready now. Although I disagree, I think we could have got a striker to come in who would be ready now, and we could have obviously used that money for 2 players at least. I think it's bad business by the club. I think we should have forced Dessers to leave. All the noise from the training ground is that Igman is the real deal. Training is one thing, though, as we've heard with the rights of this world. Agreed. Look, we've got to kind of hope that Igman is the real deal. Alex would like McGowan from Dundee. Can't take a first touch half the time. Agree, Rangers Channel. He can't trap the damn ball. He can't. Listen to all the Rangers pods. First one I joined. Enjoy all the stuff. Thank you, Owen. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Pete. Thank you for coming and joining in. Igman, we've got to hope that he is a big signing, that he can come through. I can't remember who it was talking about this. This is a lad that has featured for Morocco under 23. This is a guy who is in Morocco's plans. Morocco are no mugs. They're not the pushovers they once were in international football. If you go back to sort of the 86 World Cup, they're certainly not the useless bunch. Yeah, Alan Austin, I know he's one of your he's your man, isn't he, Alan? Like Bailey Rice is my man. Vipotnik is your man, Alan Austin. We'll keep an eye on him, buddy. We'll keep an eye on him. Dessers will prove you all wrong, says Aldo. Look, I hope he does, Aldo. I hope he does, but I just think it's short-sighted not getting 6 million for a player that is unreliable, can't trap a ball. And I think we forget he does it against the shit teams like the Motherwells of this world. He does it against those teams, but he doesn't do it against the teams that matter. Where was he on Tuesday night against Kiev? He was hopeless in that game. Where was he against Celtic last season when we needed him at Parkhead? Nowhere. So for me, that's why I don't back Dessers. That's why I don't back Dessers, because I don't think he does it when it matters, and he doesn't do it against the good teams. And that's a real issue for me. You know, Dessers is fine as a backup striker, but he's not a starting nine. He is. If Dessers is your main man as your striker, you will never win a league title. I guarantee that. If Dessers is our main striker for the next 2 to 3 seasons, we will win nothing. Nothing. Okay. Huckster, did he score when it actually mattered in that first game, where if he'd scored, we'd have gone 1-0 up and it would have changed the game? And the game against Betis, it didn't matter because no one thought we'd get anything at Betis. No one thought we'd get anything at Betis. Sell Dessers and could end up with Mbappe or Lammers. Don't think so, Bobby. New season, he's 3 and 5 so far. What more do you want at this stage of the season? Yes, Aldo, fine, he is. But did he do it against Kiev in the Champions League when we needed him to? No. Yeah, if he does it on the 1st of September, if he goes out there, wins us the game on the 1st of September, I'll be the first to say I'm sorry to Cyril Dessers and apologise to him. But I tell you this now, he will not do it on the 1st of September against Rangers. He will not do it against them. Anyone wanting Dessers to move is an absolute idiot, making do with an unfit Danilo and wanting to buy Shankland. That's done nothing this season. Stuart, I'm not saying that I want to buy Shankland. And thank you, Stuart, for calling me an idiot. I appreciate being called an idiot. Thank you for that. 22 goals is title-winning numbers. Wasn't thought Huckster, he missed loads of chances against teams where we could have actually won games. Ross County 2, Hearts 4, Celtic, Parkhead. So that is a bogus argument, mate. Sorry. How can we expect more signings in without moving players on when we can't afford the Hadji's wage increase of 8k per week, 6k per week? If we move on, Campbell and Hadji can play the 10s. Todd's wages cover. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to Scott. Scott, I need you back with on Dessers, mate. Dessers' goal mattered. Betis, but irrelevant at Septic Park. He's 29, can't hold the ball up, can't link play, can't pass the ball 5 yards. He's a net negative. Take the money and run if he will accept and move away. Agreed. Tav is more of a problem this season than Dessers. Yes, he is more of a problem than Dessers. I agree. Tav is more of a problem, but Dessers is part of the problem. We should promote a B team striker and get Danilo shipped out if we can for the money, if there is any. I think it's too soon with Danilo. I think you need to give him the 4 to 6 weeks to get match fit. Danilo is right. Mark my words. Right, 8 minutes past 9 on the 21st. So do all strikers miss chances, Owen? If he didn't, yeah, I agree. He does. Yeah, I agree. Haaland misses chances, but he misses easy chances. Huckster. Those 2 he missed against Ross County, Cholak scores. Those 2 he missed against Ross County, yeah, Danilo scores. Those 2 he missed against Ross County, Buff scores. Okay, so I'm sorry, but he is not up to the task. And like I said, if Dessers is our leading striker for the next 2 to 3 seasons, our top striker, we will not win the league. Guarantee it. Aldo says, I'll bet anyone £100 to the charity of their choice that Dessers gets us the goals to win the league. What, this season, Aldo? This season, Aldo? Is that this season? Because I think you might as well pay the £100 to the charity right now. Look, yeah, I know Dessers is all we've got. Like I said, that's what I've said. I said that a few minutes ago. He's all we have got, unfortunately, at this moment in time. I don't rate him. I don't this season. Although we will not win the league this season, mate. We will not win the league this season. I guarantee you that. If we don't add to this squad between now and the end of this window, we will be closer to Aberdeen in 3rd than we will be to Celtic in 1st. That's what I'm guaranteeing. Why is Lovelace not getting his act together and pushing for the main team? John Hannah, he played the other night and played very well by all accounts. Right, so in terms of lists of priorities for this team, I honestly feel that this is the list of priorities for this team at this moment in time. 10, 6, winger, centre forward, right back, centre back. That's my order of list. Right, guys, in the live chat, I don't want to talk about Cyril Dessers anymore. If you want to talk about Cyril Dessers, feel free, but I'm not going to talk about him now. Like I said, I'm trying to steer clear of him. I'm sick to death of talking about him. I'm sick to death of talking about... if that's your prediction, there's no point watching this season. The cries that I'll never stop watching us, whether we win, lose, or draw. I just think that realistically we don't win the league this season. And I think the vast majority of Rangers fans think we won't win the league this season with this present squad. Although, I've got a question for you. If we don't add to this squad between now and the window closing on the 30th of August, is the squad we have now good enough to beat Celtic and win the league this season? That's my question. I think he's off to Man United, Geordie, by what I've heard. We will win the league and cup double. What, this season, Aldo? Aldo, mate, I'll have a pint of whatever you're drinking. So my priority list between now and the end of this window is 10, 6, winger, centre forward, right back, centre back. So I think we need a 10. I think we're desperate for a 10, because if Clement is going to stick with... Although I admire your optimism, mate. I really admire your optimism. But my honest prediction is we will finish closer to Aberdeen in third than we will finish to Celtic with this present squad. Okay. If we add before the window closes, Aldo, we bring in a 10, we bring in a 6, we bring in a winger. Yes, I think it can be very different, but we need to add to this squad. So for me, 10 is a priority because of the fact that we don't have one at the club, because of the fact that, I think they will, Aldo. I think Aberdeen look very good this season, mate. And I think they'll look better than Hearts, better than Hibs, better than Dundee, better than Dundee United. I think they'll surprise a few people this season. I think the 10 is, like I said, because Clement seems to want to play with a 10, because we'll need a 10 between now and the end of the season. We will need a 10. Okay. So I really do agree that we need a 10. Okay. 6, I think, is important because I think we look disjointed. I think we need to move the ball a lot better. I think we need to push the ball forward a lot quicker. I think we need to use the ball better. I think we need to free Barron up a little bit, or Diamonde. I don't think we can continue to go on relying on Barron all the time. He's a young player. If we play Barron 60, 65 games this season, we'll absolutely wipe the poor little lad out. So for me, 6 is something we do need. A winger, I think we need a left winger. We need a left winger because we haven't got a left winger. We haven't got a left winger because Cortez is injured. And how long he's going to be out, who knows? You know what it's like with Rangers. Player goes out for 4 to 6 weeks. That's 10 to 12 weeks, isn't it? So yeah, I do think we need a winger. Centre forward, centre back, right back, I think are all priorities as well. But I think they can kind of perhaps wait for another window if you're going to play Sterling at right back. But for me, the top 3 priorities we must get over the line between now and the end of this window is a 10, a 6, and a winger. That's my priorities. Right. In the live chat, guys, get your priorities. What are your top 2 positional priorities? So type out your top 2 positional priorities, please, in the live chat. Let me know what they are. Aberdeen's bubble will burst. They're just carrying their luck, says John. Davies, Hadji, Cantwell, Lawrence, Matondo, and Wright must go, please, says Hugster. We could play Celtic on Fantasy Island and still lose. Bluebell said, appreciate the optimism, Aldo, but we aren't winning the league for a few years. Never mind this season. If Cherney keeps his drive and grit going, I can't wait to see him against Celtic. I agree, Geordie. That's an exciting one. I think that really is an exciting one, mate. Janet says, think we will get better, but sadly no league this season. Hate to say that as well. Sickening to admit it. Red Bull are taking the piss out of Kiev. Good to hear. Fans are deluded if they think we can win the league, lol. So Scott says a 6 and a 10. 6 and a 10. Hugster says a 6 and a 10. Alan Austin says Danilo Ignatenko was a 6 at Bordeaux, still not got a club. 27-year-old Ukrainian international. Alan, send it into the club, mate. Send it into the club. Charles wants up CEO. Nice. Jiggy says a 6 and a 10. Bluebell says, I'll say one thing. Guarantee we'll see movement this week. Not sure who it will be, but believe Todd is very close to moving on. Interesting. Alan wants a right back and a 10. John says we need a striker more than anything else, an out-and-out striker. Alan, another decent player. Guy has no pace. Adrian says he wants a 10 and Shankland. Alex wants a right back, a 10 and a 9. Janet wants a 6 and a 10. Stephen says no way to something. I'm not quite sure what Stephen's saying no way to. Guys, 100 people watching, please obviously smash that like. Guys, obviously, this is what we're looking at tonight. I wanted just to sort of concentrate on what we needed, what our priorities were. I didn't really want to get into a Dessa's slanging match tonight. I'm quite happy to talk about Dessa's another night, okay, with anybody, but not tonight. I really want to try and focus more on what we needed, what the priorities were moving forward, because I think we all realise that this window, we're not going to address all the priorities. Stuart, I don't think that Clement rates Shankland. I don't think Clement wants Shankland. I don't ever think Lawrence Shankland was an option for Rangers. 100%. Don't even think he was ever an option, Stuart. Would I like to sign for... Yeah, of course I would, buddy. I would run through brick walls for this club, Adrian. And I'm fat, overweight and unfit. Tav will not win us the league. Ross wants a right back, 10 and a 9. Bluebell says 10 is a priority, followed by a 6. Left winger, centre back, right back for me. Lucky if we get 2 of those, though. Is the club doctor job? Yeah, that's another priority, I suppose. But look, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I agree with Bluebells. Absolutely no interest in Shanks. I don't think there's any interest in the club in Lawrence Shankland. Oh, no. Who would you like us to sign? Oh, sorry, Adrian. I misread that one. Who would I like us to sign? Is this a right, Adrian, realistically or dream world? Realistically or dream world? Let me know what that is. Folks, we haven't even got £10, never mind 30 million, Owen Stephen. Agreed. Look, we all realise, I think, that, that if we're going to address these priorities, we do need to shift on players. We do need to sell players. That's an unfortunate circumstance we are in, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. Adrian says, realistically, I guess, lol. Geordie says, the club doctor, Joseph Mengele, is definitely up for the job, lol. I think he died on a beach in Brazil, didn't he, of a heart attack. Who would I like us to realistically sign? Let me have a think about this for a minute. Who's available out there? I'd like us to go and get a 10. I'd like us to go and get someone who's going to make a difference to this team. Hugster, I love that comment. I'm still thinking, mate. I'm still thinking. Bluebell says the crap from Fiorentina will be a great start. Realistic signing. Sima would have been my true realistic signing if he was still available, Adrian. I would have loved Sima back at the club. I'm a huge Sima fan. No one will ever dissuade me of that. Okay, right. I would like us to go and sign Lennon Miller. I think Lennon Miller could be a fantastic player for us. I think he'd be a great central attacking midfield player. So Lennon Miller is high on my shopping list, and Davy Watson from Kilmarnock. They're the 2 players I'd love to see Rangers go and get. 2 players that can hit the ground running. 2 players that understand this league. 2 players that know how to play in this league. So for me, Lennon Miller and Davy Watson. They're my 2 if I was going to sign thing. Stuart says Miller is his choice. Bluebells says Watson for me, miles ahead of Miller in my opinion. A 6 and a 10 in my opinion, says Stephen. Janet agrees with me. Thank you, Janet. They need to do scouting in the free agent market. Yeah, they do. I mean, there are players. I mean, that Tapia guy, that Renato, I think it's Renato Tapia, is it? The guy, the Peruvian international, he's still available on a free. Why are we not looking on? I mean, I'll be honest with you. The one thing that is worrying me, guys, at this moment in time is our inability to sell players and get rid of players. Really is. Stuart says, can we not get one of Chelsea's 150 players on loan? They have 16 strikers on their books. Stuart, do you know how big their squad is? Their squad's 43. 43. Alex is obsessed with McGowan from Dundee. They want 5 million for Miller. Not happening, says Bluebells. Lennon Miller will be a good shout, Owen. Yeah, I agree. And 5 million. Like, if we can't raise 5 million through selling Hadji, Cantwell, Davis, and another, then I don't know what's wrong. I really don't. I really don't. And also, I think you've got to remember, it won't be 5 million up front. It never will be 5 million up front. But no, shifting players on it is one that is worrying me. It's a great question. That was Jamie Carragher asked, didn't he? Do you think do you think it's because nobody wants to pay the wages of Hadji, Davis and Campbell? Yeah, I think that's agree, mate. The problem we've got is, look, I mean, it's not the same as, but I I'll be honest with you. I was listening to. I'm a big fan of Mark Goldbridge. You guys know that, and I'm not a Man United fan. I don't like Manchester United in particularly. Not a fan of Man United at all, really. Don't mind them, don't hate them, don't like them, don't love them. Just interested. What he said about Manchester United earlier today. I think you can copy and paste for Rangers. He said that they can't sell players at the moment. They can't sell Maguire. They can't sell McTominay. They can't sell Sancho. They can't sell Casemiro because they're on massive wages and nobody wants them. Now, I know that our players are not on the same wages as Casemiro at 300 grand a week or Jordan Sancho at 250,000 a week. But the reason we're having such issues with moving players on is because of the fact that we're paying them such massive wages. Okay, 30 grand Tav, 27 grand Ben Davis, 25 grand Todd Cantwell, 21 grand Yanis Hadji. Where's my left back? We've got a left back, mate. We've got Hefte, we've got Fraser, and we've got Ridvan when he's fit. So follow the money. I'm playing Hefte at left back, or I'm playing Robbie Fraser at left back. Mate, I love Robbie Fraser. Massive Robbie Fraser fan. Love the lad. Robbie Fraser is brilliant. I love Robbie Fraser. You will never dissuade me on Robbie Fraser. Robbie Fraser's great. He should play left back if Ridvan's not fit. But yeah, that's why we can't move players on, because of the wages. If we had more of a budget, we may be able to do something to sweeten the deal, to move them on a little bit. But we haven't got a budget. We've got no money. And that's what's holding us back at the moment. So for me, that's the issue we've got. And Grant says we don't want loan players. Let's face it, they only get loaned because they're not doing the business of their parent clubs. Agreed. Linked with the Croatian left back. Yeah, that was Domoroj Bradic, wasn't it? Just seen Trent's contract. I don't think there's any chance of that one. Dock their wages if they don't play to their abilities. Unfortunately, you can't do that. Ridvan needs selling SAP. Alex says, why the hell do we have an academy? I don't know, mate. That's one of the points I've always raised. If we have an academy, I don't know why we don't use it. Bluebell says Fraser is the best left back at the club. No idea what the fuck PC's issue is, not giving him more game time. I agree, Bluebells. You'll never dissuade me. I love Robbie Fraser. Brilliant player. Lovely player. Love him to bits. Fantastic lad. Right, guys. Thank you for watching tonight. We're over an hour now. I'm going to stop droning on before I start to bore you all. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation tonight, guys. Please obviously sub to the channel if you've not yet subbed. And 2 favours I always ask of you on the way out. Number 1, smash that like. And number 2, please remember always, we are the people.